Hello fellow YouTubers and welcome to another episode of Bloody Submarines. I think this is probably going to be the last one for this season. If I get any new submarines, it's a big if, in my catalogue. Yeah, sure, we'll do a season 2 at some point. But watch this space and don't get your expectations up too high. Anyway, today we're looking at the U-4501, a submarine that is available for coal. Yes, you can get this from the coal shop. And she's a rather unusual beast with a certain weird playstyle requirement because her torpedoes are on the front and the back. She has 6 tubes on the back in sets of 3, port and starboard, and 4 tubes on the front. She has all the loaders required for those, which gives her a reload time of 60 seconds, which is pretty competitive with this build, of course. Now, here's where it gets weird. On the surface, she does 21 knots, which is pretty sort of undying levels of slowness, and you know what I thought of that. At periscope depth, she also does 21 knots. She has a turning circle of 310 meters, which is actually pretty damn fine, and a rudder shift of 2.3 seconds. And trust me, she needs that to avoid getting depth charged whilst on the surface. Under the water, it's a totally different ball game. With this build, she can do 37.8 knots with a dive plane shift time of 9.5 seconds and a dive and descent ascent and descent of 3.4 meters a second. Her concealment is also top of her class at 5.4 kilometers, and detectability by air is 2.1, and of course assured for all ships is 2 kilometers, so no surprises there. Her sonar has a reload time of 12 seconds, a duration of 25 seconds. If you get a double ping, you get 65 seconds. 65. However, what I need to add here is that her ping width is actually very wide, so when she hits a target, getting a second ping on that target in the same spot is actually quite clever, quite easy to do. It's quite easy to do. However, you will attract a lot of attention while you're pinging, so to make up for that, she can heal whilst on the surface. However, the second she dives, she'll no longer heal, so you'll lose that charge of healing if you dive at any point during the heal, okay? That charge will be gone forever the second you dive. Alright, she gets, with this build, 3 reserve battery units that last 36 seconds. She gets submarine surveillance, but unfortunately, unlike the U-2501, which has a rather excellent range of 9 kilometers, quite crazy if you ask me, she only detects submarines to 6 kilometers, which gives her a sub versus sub window of 3 kilometers, which isn't very much. Under 3 kilometers, of course, the torpedoes do bugger all damage, about 95% damage reduction by my calculation. It's something like that, around 90 to 95%. So you can't expect much out of them, and it's only 6 kilometers, so that's a bit gimped. However, her hydrophone still has a standard German 8-kilometer range, which is very nice indeed, and is up for 6 seconds, revealing ship positions on the mini-map for your team. Make them aware that you're using the hydrophone, because if they know how to use their mini-maps, they will get a lot of information every time you use this. You only get 4 damage control parties with this build, okay? Now, what I've gone with, the concept behind this build, is that while she's on the surface, she's going to recharge her battery really fast because she will not be spending much time underwater compared to a U-2501 because her battery capacity is somewhat limited. Okay, so you get 253.6 units. What's that mean? You get around 4 minutes of underwater time, and of course you can supplement that with reserve battery units that add a further 36 seconds to that every 85.5 seconds, which is the cooldown time for the consumable. Okay, but when she's on the surface, she gets it back faster than 1 a second, which allows me to pop up, grab some dive capacity, and then pop straight back down again to take full advantage of her speed. underwater, which is 37.8 knots. So I spend more time underwater in this sub than any other sub in my collection. And when I'm on the surface, I get my dive time recharged super quick. And how do I do that? By using dive capacity modification 1 in slot 3. And then if you look at the captain build, you'll see that's further augmented by improved battery efficiency. Okay. Anyway, let's look at the equipment. I've gone with main armors modification 1 in slot 1 to look after the torpedo tubes. Okay, she doesn't get any deck guns, this one. You get no secondaries or deck guns while you're on the surface. You are a sitting duck. All you have is your torpedoes, and they're just homing torpedoes. She doesn't get dumbfire. If you look here, you'll see, and here, you only get acoustic homing torpedoes with a range of 10 kilometers, which is somewhat limited, and a damage of 9k each. Speed of 82 knots, detectability range of 2.2 kilometers. Quite strong torpedoes, but you don't get dumbfire. Okay, in the second slot, I've gone with reserve battery unit modification 1 because that gives us another 20% of battery charge boost, which is very much needed with this submarine to give you a bit longer under the water. Okay, you could be justified in taking sonar modification 2 to increase the ping velocity by 10% because she does have a very wide ping and her ping is strong. So let's make it stronger. All right, that's a possible alternative. And of course, you could take reserve battery unit modification 1, which I did, which gives you an extra 20% on this bad boy. So you go from 30 seconds to 36 seconds per charge. That adds up to a total of 18 extra seconds underwater, and you never know when that's going to save you from disaster. So I quite like that. Of course, the obligatory submarine steering gears in slot 4 to bring the rudder shift down nice and tight, reduces rudder shift by 50%. So we get a rudder shift, let's see, of 2.3 seconds, which is pretty damn good. And then, yes, you're going to come under fire quite a lot in this submarine because she relies on pinging and using homing torpedoes. So reinforced bulkheads is a must pick for slot 5. Very important you take this. Reduces damage from depth charges by 15%. And then finally, you've got a decision to make with dive capacity modification 2, which increases the dive capacity further by a further 15%, giving you more underwater time. Or if you want to really lean into the torpedoes and get that reload down to 50 seconds, torpedo tube modification 2 would also be a good pick. As for build-wise, what I've done here is I've gone for a flooder, because her torpedoes are her bread and butter, so the much more flooding you get, the better. So I've gone with liquidator for the first pick. Then I've gone with torpedo crew training, which gives you a reduction of 15% on your reload time on your torpedoes, getting it down to 60 seconds. There is an argument for improved battery capacity, all right, for longer underwater time. And there is an argument to be made for consumable enhancements, which increases the action time of your consumables, okay? Any of those is a reasonable pick for this ship. Also, if you don't want liquidator, you could take enhanced sonar, which reduces your cooldown time on your sonar ping by 10%. And as her sonar is quite strong, you might want to do that. It's personal preference, really, ultimately, at the end of the day. On line 3, I went with Watchful first. Then I picked up Superintendent to get the extra heal, the extra battery reserve, and the extra repair, because we want to be as tanky as we possibly can. So that's your first 10 points. Then after that, I went with improved battery efficiency to get the recharge speed up, adrenaline rush, and then I finished with enlarged propeller shaft. So if you're caught on the surface with less than 50% of your dive capacity or at periscope depth, you'll get an 18% speed boost. Okay. That will not work with this speed, unfortunately. It works with this one, so bear that in mind. So what are you going to get out of that? You're going to get an extra 4 knots of speed, roughly 3.5 to 4 knots of speed. So you might be able to push almost 25 knots. Wow. But you could drop enlarged propeller shaft, and if you did, I wouldn't blame you. And you could then pick up consumable specialist, which brings the preparation and reload time down by 15%. Okay, so you'll always have your submarine surveillance off cooldown as fast as you possibly can. and then maybe use your last point on helmsman. So every time you use your hydrophone, you get even better rudder shift and even better diving plane shift time. But if you're going to do that and you're going to take off big prop and you're going to build into these, then you're going to want to take this one and spend the coal and get yourself Submarine Surveillance Modification 1, because that will reduce the cooldown on this even further. And with the captain skill I just mentioned, you will have the fastest cooldown on your submarine surveillance you possibly can have. So if sub-to-sub combat is your thing, you might want to think about doing that. Okay? Anyway, with that all said, let's take this bad boy for a spin. Okay, U-4501, here we go. We're on Islands of Ice, and it's an arms race. There's 2 subs aside. Oh, the guys are going to be really pleased about that. Haha. They've got a Thrasher and a U-4501. We've got 2 U-4501s. Quite a popular boat, this one. Okay, can't imagine why. You can get this thing for coal. I've done about half a dozen games in it so far, and I can tell you it's a rather unusual beast. The submarine surveillance, let's talk about that. It's only 6 kilometer, unlike the U-2501. It only has a 6 kilometer range. U-2501's is stronger, quite a lot stronger. So you need to be aware of that. And yes, dude, I really hate submarines too. Absolutely. But we're just going to block messages on him for now, because he's probably going to froth all game about how he hates submarines. And I don't want to read it, okay? So we're just going to block messages. Okay, so we've got 4 minutes and 6 seconds before our submarine surveillance comes online. The good news is the hydrophone is 8 kilometer range, same as the U-2501s. So we can get a pretty good idea of what's about, which is great, because we're going to need it. And now the gimmick with this sub is it's very fast underwater. So we're going to be going places underwater. We're going to be doing things in reverse to how we would say use a U-2501 when we're faster on the surface. Faster on the surface in the U-2501, faster underwater in the U-4501. And you can see the hydrophone's got an 8 kilometer range and reveals ship positions for 6 seconds. What can I say except that I've built into regen battery recharge, so that when we are on the surface, we don't have to stay up there very long, because this thing's a bit of a slug on the surface. It only does around 20 knots. You can get caught very quickly. So we're just going to do a hydrophone spot. And yeah, there you go on the mini-map there. If you check the mini-map, you'll see there's a Haragumo incoming. I think we've got, yeah, we've got one Haragumo, Z52. That's going to be a problem. Halland. Why is the Z52 going to be a problem? Because he's got a Hydra. Which ain't great. If we're on the surface, he can detect us up to 6 kilometers. If we're under the water, he can assured detect to 2 kilometers. Which is a bit scary. It's the 6 kilometers that's scary, because he can catch us on the surface. Okay, we're just going to send some torpedoes at that Russian experimental ship. And then we're going to do the donut. So we're just going to turn, because she's got 3 launchers aside on the back. It's kind of weird arrangement. I'm going to try and get some jaunty angles on those. You can see the torpedoes. We've got a double ping. Very easy to get a double ping in this sub, because the ping width is very wide. And look at that, 4 hits and a flood straight off the bat. And more doom incoming. Although I think he managed to avoid those, did he? Yeah, I'd say maybe. Yeah, he seems to be avoiding those. Okay, so we're going to move away. Oh, he just took 3 more hits. Now you notice I fired 3 one side and 3 the other, and I fanned them out. The reason is because if he avoids one set of 3, he won't avoid the second set. And oh look, ha, we got him with flood damage. So I don't feel too bad about that, because that was an experimental ship, and I think they just shouldn't exist. They're overpowered nonsense. And they won't be here in a patch or 2, so what's the point, right? What's the point of experimental ships? They're just there to allow people to troll or seal club or whatever. Why seal club in one of those when you can seal club in a U-4501, right? Honestly, this submarine is a little wicked. It's a little wicked. Okay, we've got a ping on the curve first there. And see if we can get a double. Make mine a double. You see how wide that ping is? Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, somehow he changed course and he's now moving away because he really doesn't want to get hit by my torpedoes. And I don't blame him. So he's putting some distance between me and him. And these torpedoes only have a 10-kilometer range, unlike the U-2501. And we only have homing torpedoes. We don't have those gunfire torpedoes the U-2501 has, because it's got both. It's got homing torpedoes and gunfire torpedoes. So we're just going to another hydrophone spot, and as you can see on the mini-map, quick check tells me there's nothing in the area at the moment. That doesn't mean something won't move in while I'm on cooldown, and in 50 odd seconds time we'll find out. But I might as well grab this buff for the team, and while I'm at it, fire on the Wisconsin. Put a ping on him. Okay, here come the planes. Kind of expected, really. He cleared the ping. Yeah, he cleared the ping. And we still got 3 hits. Ah, that's going to sting. Or not. Okay, we just managed to get out of range of that one just before it detonated. That was close. Okay, now I'm going to try and send some wide. Do you see those torpedoes on the left? They're trying to track the Wisconsin, but of course there's an island in the way. You can curl torpedoes around islands, and those have curled round, and they are trying to turn into the Wisconsin, but very unlikely to happen. They can't turn that well. Interestingly enough, they almost clipped the curve first on the way through. Look at that. They've gone around the back. So yes, you can curve. You can do curveballs with this submarine, but using torpedoes as the balls, right? You can curl them round corners. This is something I really need to practice more. Like I said, I haven't spent a lot of time in this sub. I've played about 6-7 games so far, and they've been so far a painful learning experience in some cases. In others, quite boring, really, because the playstyle tendency on the EU servers is to stay at the back. So in a U-4501, if you want to have impact, you have to go into the enemy team's spawn. But this is proving to be an interesting game because they're actually pushing now. Okay, we've got to... he cleared that. That's great. That's good. Now, we just wait another 15 seconds before we ping again to make sure his repair party's off cooldown. And, well, he's on cooldown. And we should be able to make these pings stick now. Very close to the curve first, so I'm staying at periscope depth for now. He's literally stopped. Okay. Those torpedoes look like they're going to hit him regardless. Yeah. Yeah. And we got 2 hits and a flood. And you can see it's painful for him. We're going to get a double ping? Yes, we got the double ping. There you go. 64 seconds of homing torpedo goodness. And this just makes the torpedoes home better. They stay on target for longer. And down he goes. So double pings are great. Okay? Really important thing to try and get your head around. And the U-4501 does double pinging better than most. Honestly, the width of that ping is impressive. So double pinging in this ship isn't that hard to do. Okay, we're in detection range, which tells me the curve first has got his hydro up, which is unfortunate because it means it'll see those torpedoes. We've got a ping on him, which will send the torpedoes to the surface immediately. You can see them rising as we speak, but he's put the brakes on. Was it enough? I think so. I think he's managed to slip the hook. Yeah, he's turned into them and put the brakes on. Those look good. Yeah. Honestly, this submarine is a nasty, nasty thing. There you go, another 6 hits. Because he put the brakes on and he slowed down, he became a very easy target for us. And if my team hadn't got him, the Colombo, that would have been another kill. This submarine is strong. It does have some weaknesses. It's slow on the surface. It's got a very good detect, though, of 5.6. Or is it 5.4? Yeah, very hard to detect when we're on the surface. 5.4 detect. Which is shocking. 5.4 is really ridiculous. Same sort of level as a Cossack. Or a Jaeger. Okay. But we are very slow when we're on the surface. Okay. We can be outspotted by other submarines using their submarine surveillance. However, underwater we are a much smaller target than they are, so we can win sub-to-sub engagements if we're careful of that. Because we are actually quite hard to hit. And we are much faster than anything else at depth. Because we can do 37 knots at 30 or at 60 meter depth. Okay. So what I've done here is we get 4 minutes of battery, but I've chucked everything into recharge. So when we're on the surface, we get that 4 minutes back super quick. You can do the opposite, but you don't really want to be on the surface for very long. And I feel that you get maximum value by going for the regen route rather than the sustain route. I want to be able to get my battery back super quick so I can get back down again and start doing 37 knots again underwater. I don't want to be on the surface for very long. And that is essentially part of the playstyle of the U-4501. And that's not just my opinion. I've watched quite a few videos from people like Trenlas, Man of the North, and so on. And honestly, all these people say pretty much the same thing. That this submarine's at its strongest when it's sat underwater doing 37 knots, rather than sat on the surface doing 20. Okay, let's do another hydrophone. Okay, there's the Z-52 I was worried about. We've got hardly any ships left, unfortunately. It's coming towards the end of the game. I would love to hook up with the Satsuma for some alone time, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. Z-52's got his hydro going. Watchful tells me that if I surface now, I'm going to get detected. Okay, his hydro's off. Right. I mean, I'm assuming that was a Z-52. Watchful is very useful for that sort of thing. But he's also quite close. We're going to have a little peek. I'll go to periscope depth and have a look. What's that in front of us, Halland? And we just got lit by hydro. Interesting. Watchful didn't trigger. That's strange. It has triggered now, of course. Honestly, I'm not too sure what happened there. I don't think his hydrophone ever stopped. You know what I think? I think I went out of range of his hydrophone, and then I went back into range as I surfaced. It was just a bit of bad luck on my part, really. That was unfortunate. His hydrophone never really cancelled. We're just out of range of his hydrophone now. But of course we've got a Halland bearing down on us. Yeah, there's a Halland. Might be able to get some torpedoes into him, but we're too close. 3 kilometer rule comes into play. So we're not going to do him much damage if we do see him. And target acquisition isn't too great at periscope depth. It really isn't. There you go. He's right on top of us. Right there. I'll put a ping on him. Fire some torps for what it's worth. And down I go. He's easily avoided those. And is now dropping depth charges on me. I'm being hit by the Satsuma's payload. This could be the end. This could be the end. I think the Halland has me. Tatsuma. Okay. So there you have it. That's the U-4501. Unfortunately, we didn't win that one. But you know what? I had a lot of fun. Okay, so we've got a Class 3 rating on that one. 3rd grade. Not too surprised. So we're in top 50% with that. Even though we got 150,000 damage, which is interesting. Z52 played very, very well. We're top of the team there. 65k on the Wisconsin. All of that torpedoes, of course. And 9k of that was flooding. 46k on the Vyazma, whatever that is. Russian experimental. And 38k on the Kurfürst. Okay, 150,000 total. There was 21k flood damage there. 20% credit booster on. 500,000 credits made. Okay. Right then. Let's do another one. Right, we're on Shards. It's a carrier game. And they have a Thrasher, a couple of Jaegers. There's a few battleships to farm there, including a Maine. Interesting. We've got a nice spread of cruisers. A Colbert, a Stalingrad, and an Austin. Okay. Now the Jaegers concern me because we share a detect. Jaegers have got 5.4 detect, same as me. So what's that mean? It means I could bump into one of those on the surface very easily, and he'd spot me, I'd spot him, and it wouldn't be very pleasant for me, especially if he's got friends. So we're going to try and avoid the Jaegers. I'm going to head for the channel between A and B. I think that would be a good hunting ground for us. I don't like the idea of going up the flank. I know it's best practice to stick to the flanks, but I've got a feeling I might bump into the Thrasher on the flank. And also, I happen to know from past experience that the enemy fleet quite often likes to hang out below those two islands at H3, I3. Yeah. And honestly, I really don't want to do that. So we'll hang around the cap. I'd like to hydrophone anything that's on the cap, but I don't like the idea of actually going into the cap. And you can see on the mini-map, their Malta's heading north. They've got a Yamato, a Stalingrad, a Maine, a Slava, and a Fotogrossa that we know about, thanks to our carrier spotting. He hasn't spotted any destroyers yet, though, and he hasn't noticed the submarines, so that's unfortunate. Okay, the Karbarovsky is thinking, or Karba is thinking about going into A, isn't he? No, he isn't. Surely not. Is he going to ambush someone? Is he setting up an ambush? Nothing's capping A, mate. Not yet, anyway. Oh, something's capping A now, and we're in detection range. God, what would that be? Austin, right there. Just going to highlight that for the Carver. I don't think he wants to get Austin. And there's one of the Jaegers. So, Jaeger sign. You know where one Jaeger is. Down at A. Okay. Stalingrad has turned around and is fleeing in the other direction. Might be a good spot to surface and recharge. So we can light the Stalingrad for our team and get some spotting damage. There we go, we made him pay. Experimental ship got him while we were on the surface spotting. There's the Austin behind me. And yeah, we've got, you know what? It's going to take me a while to get used to this. We have got rear launchers on this submarine, quite a few of them. So I can launch 6 torps out the back in groups of 3. But you know what? I'm going to go into B first. It would be nice to grab a cap. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get quite a lot for that. Let's see if we can hit the Austin from here. He's camping behind the island and should be a fairly easy target. Put a ping on him. We'll send some wide as well. So if he avoids one set, he gets hit by the other set. Yeah, he cleared the ping and he avoided the first set of torps. And we just wait, and then this one should stick. He won't shake this ping so easily. There you go. Because his repair party will have worked. Repair party is up for anything between 10 and 20 seconds, so it's good to sort of give it a bit of time. There you go. Ouch. 3 hits, just like that, from the set we sent wide. And he's flooding. And his repair party's on cooldown. Okay. Send some more his way. This should scare him off. Right, we've captured the cap. Unfortunately, we've got torpedo bombers coming at us from the carrier. I'm going to go to periscope there. Did we bail? I think we'll bail. Yeah. Austin is slipping away behind the islands. Oh, you know what? He only just got away, didn't he? If only I could kill the next set around that island, but I don't think that's going to happen. He's quite fast, and I think he's going to get behind the island, and the torps aren't going to be able to follow. They're going to hit the island, aren't they? But you can curl torps around islands, but you have to be a little bit closer than I was there. And they're only 10-kilometer range. Yeah. Crashed into the island. Okay. But we got a cap, and more torps coming our way. Oh, those must be Austin torps. Oh, that was close. Yeah, I almost swallowed one of those. Yeah, do take torpedoes seriously. You can be torpedoed on the surface. Unlikely, but it can happen. Okay, so do take avoiding action if torps come your way. Alright. Yeah, we're pretty good for air. We topped up fast, so we can do another 4-minute run. And I'm going to head now down towards the battleships that was spotted earlier to see if we can find some targets. But as you can see, this is what the meta's like usually. The enemy fleet, the main is on the J line. The Yamato is on the J line. The Furthergrosser is on the I line. They're all miles and miles away, so you have to actually head out there and go find them, because they are long-range sniper farming. It's a very weird meta. Can't say I care much for it, but submarines haven't helped with that at all. People are more likely to camp the J line now, or the A line, because submarines punish pushes pretty hard. That said, this Yamato is a good example. Look, he's pushing in now. We sent some torps his way. Put a ping on him. About there. And then we're going to just spin round and let him have it with the rears. Okay, there's 4 hits and a flood. Now he's neutralized the ping, but he's very low health, and down he goes. Okay. And now we need to turn ourselves around and go hunt the main, who is fleeing along the J line, heading east towards the Malta. That's a lot of bubbles. Haven't seen many fish this run, but okay. There's the main. Unfortunately, we got an island in our way on the right. So I can't exactly spin round unless I head left. And we're quite low air, and I'm thinking I don't really want to get lit by the main particularly. So I'm just going to move this way a little, and then we'll spin round and let him have it with the rears. It's getting hit pretty hard as it is anyway. Oh, did the ping straight away. Interesting. Sending depth charges. Okay, this one should stick. Gave him too much lead. No, I didn't. No, that's good. That's good. Should be enough to warrant some hits. Okay, there's the Slava. No, main is moving away and avoiding my torpedoes. Good for him. The American battleships do have very good rudder shift compared to other battleships in the game, so maybe that's had something to do with that, probably, more than anything else. Not that it did him any good anyway, because the Valparaiso got him. How slow are you now? Okay, Slava just slowed down and avoided my ping. Okay, we'll try that. Should hit with that one. Okay, he cleared the ping. And the torps literally went round the back. That's kind of weird. That was really weird. Okay. He's practically dead in the water. He's literally put the brakes on. Okay, let him have the rears. What a strange game this one's been. Nah, those torps aren't going to get him. I think my team's going to get him before anything else happens. Get double ping. For the XP. There you go. And here comes a fire and down he goes. Yeah, Yoshino B got him. And we win the match. Two pretty one-sided games, actually. Matchmaker's not been very kind to me today. Okay. Alright, it is what it is. But we got a class 2. And we only did 48k damage. So why did we get that? And look, we're top of the team again. Okay. Probably because we got a cap. You get a lot of XP for caps in Submarines. 26k on the Austin. 3.5k of that was floodings. 22,463 on the Yamato. And only 459 flood damage. Okay, so 48,000 total. 3,979 flood damage, 20% buff on, and we made 360,000 credits. So you can make really good credits in these submarines. You really can. And we made top 80%. Top 20% even, excuse me. Okay, this time the map's Sleeping Giant. And it's domination mode again. 5 juicy battleships to farm there. Yeah. Looking at maps through the eyes of a submariner now. This will probably be about my 15th match in the U-4501, so let's hope it's a good one, right? I've learned a lot. She's an interesting boat. plays very much like a torpedo boat. I love the rear launchers now. I really do. I wish the U-4501 had something I could chuck out the back. That said, I think the U-2501 is very strong too, for different reasons. The underwater speed of this sub is very welcome indeed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just head down the 2 line and then maybe do some spotting and hook into A if things are looking a little too hot. Depends how hot things are, how many ships they've got on the flank, that sort of thing. I'm using the reserve battery so that I can go long and maintain 37.7 knots for as long as possible. Yes, you read that right, 37.9. This is where she excels at 30 meters and 60 meters. Her top speed is 37.9 knots with a speed flag, which is astonishing. I'm not sure on the captain build. I'm looking at big prop and I'm not seeing the value, mainly because 18% of 20 knots is bugger all, so I might spend the points elsewhere. Okay. There's a U-2501, and the fact that they drop depth charges means he must have hydrophoned me. And there's a Haragumo over there in the smoke. Interesting. Okay, well, we are definitely hooking into A. They've got a lot of ships here. They've got 5 ships that I know of. Possibly more. And our guys are scattered. Our Conqueror's hardly moved. Venezia is moving in. Zhao is kiting away. Montana is kiting away. So I can't expect any support from them at A. Okay, let's see if we can upset the Hindenburg. Don't think the first set's going to hit him. I suspect he'll avoid those. It's that second set I sent wide. Okay, something's got me on hydro. We need to dive and get out of there. Watchful's prop. I don't know, those torpedoes look pretty good actually. Yep. Okay, we hit him with 3 torps. 22k damage. Nice. And flood. Something on the corner. Dutch light cruiser on the corner. Actually, it's not, is it? It's a heavy cruiser. It's a Golden Lion. Goodenly. Okay. Zhao just burned out their Hindenburg with a little help from me. He would have sunk, actually. He was sinking, damn it. But Zhao stole the frag. He probably did more damage than me anyway. But it was nice to give that guy a 3 of the best, right? And I'm vending oil, but I'm not going to repair it. Let's not bother. Let's save our repairs. I say why. Look at that. Vending oil everywhere. Because the Colombo's out of ASW range. The Irresistible is out of... Ooh, an Irresistible out of ASW range. That's that new research ship, isn't it? Ooh. The Smoking Battleship. Yeah. And the Golden Leo, or the Golden Lion, drops its depth charges out the back. And look at that, Mecklenburg. This is a target-rich environment, people. I'm either going to die really horribly and really fast, or we're going to get some points. Okay. We got the cap yet, more importantly, not yet. I'd like to get the cap, but I don't really want to get lit, so I'm going to dump the cap for now. Got a double ping on his nose. And we're going to go backwards, okay? I'm going to just chuck her into reverse. Oh, that one's close. God damn. Have to repair that. Okay, he cleared my sonar ping, but took 3 torpedoes in the process. And now, unfortunately, we are less than 3 kilometers away from him, so the next load of torpedoes isn't going to hurt that much. I don't think it's worth giving our position away, so we're going to stay dark. And Haragumo backed off a lot, didn't he? Hydrophone just picked him up south of my position. No sign of the U-4501, which is good. He's out of hydrophone range. But there is a Mecklenburg right above me and a Begonia moving in as well. How we go for battery? 158. Okay. Now this is the perfect time to use your reserve battery, right? Because I'm going to be down here a while. Just going to head on back out towards B and see if I can hook up with the Begonia. And maybe get some rear torps into the Mecklenburg. Give him a nasty surprise. That Begonia is pushing hard straight out. Wow. Our Libertad took out their Libertad. That's good. Okay, right, Mecklenburg. Right in front of the Begonia, I'm going to do this. This is rude, really. This is what I'm doing is really rude. I'm saying, I'm here, I'm a submarine, what you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? I think he's toast. I really do. Begonia, what you gonna do about it? 3 hits. 4, 5, 6. That was too enjoyable. God, subs are toxic. It's bringing out my dark side, this submarine. I'm gonna have to get in an Akhmov next, aren't I? Again. We're almost at 80,000 damage. And that Mecklenburg is toast. The Slava's just taken out the Begonia, which means we can now surface and recharge our batteries. And watch how fast this happens, right, on this build. Look at that. Look at my timer. The green numbers to the right of my submarine. Look at that. We're at 58, 59 a minute. Minute 5, minute 7, minute 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's how fast it's going, right? Faster, actually. Honestly, I love the battery regen build. It seems to be working quite nicely with the playstyle of this particular submarine, and we just got away with murder. Pretty much literally. And I really, truly believe that if the Slava hadn't got the Begonia, we might have been in with a punt, with a chance. Yeah. Look at that, we've gone over 2 minutes already. We're almost at 3. Yeah. That's the Lucian's heel, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to do anything to submarines anymore. I didn't get anything back from that, so I guess they nerfed that. Too strong for subs, right? I'll have to blame the other content creators for that one. For making Wargaming aware of the issue, right? Damn! Okay. Well, there's a Napoli over there. Haragumo's probably going to move into A, probably. There's quite a lot of ships over there. There's Colombo, Golden Lion, U-4501. I suspect they will all bundle into A. That's the play, I think, is coming from Team Red. So I'm just going to stay in the area and see what develops. B cap is now my cap. Okay, look at those torpedoes. Island bending torps. Now, I think he's going to drag them into the island, actually. I don't think those are going to catch Napoli. I can't ping him anymore. Yeah, I can't ping him anymore. Okay. Fair enough. We've almost got the cap. Another 5 seconds. And of course, we've already refilled our battery. We're at 413. That didn't take very long, did it? It really didn't. Oh, glorious. This is another reason why I don't think I need big prop. The 4-point skill. because I regen so fast I could go straight back down and make 37.9 knots again, rather than the 23, 24 knots Big Prop would give me. I know which I prefer. Irresistible! How the devil are you, Mr. 16 gun? 62,000 research required or something stupid for that ship? Yeah, 62,000 research. It's a new research ship. Quite a strong and wicked fire starter from what I've heard. I'll keep half an eye on A because I expect some company soon. And there goes the buff from Lucians again, and still no hit points back. Yeah, that's definitely busted. Or nerf. Okay, we're lit. Something lit us. Gotta be the Haragumo, I guess. Maybe. Maybe not, actually. Could be the Haragumo. I'm not sure. And that worries me. Okay. Got a double ping right on the nose on the Irresistible. Something's capping B. It's a Haragumo, isn't it? I bet that's what lit me. Curious I didn't light him though. Okay, Montana took out the Irresistible. Alright. She does have a pretty big citadel, the Irresistible. So you do have to be careful with her. She really is a long-range fire-starting sniper that sits along the H or I line. Sniping all day long. Kind of annoying. So seeing one push is unusual. But she's not been in the game long. Okay, we've got a Golden Lion joining us. And stuff is, yeah, underwater detected. That'll be the U-4501. So the U-4501 around here. We'll do a hydrophone spot. I should be able to spot him. Okay, Golden Lion hit us pretty hard there. That's good. We'll just slap a heel on while we're on the surface and see if we can torpedo the Golden Lion. We're going into Haragumo smoke, so we might get lucky and pop the Haragumo while we're at it. He's very low health. There's the U-4501, so we're just going to go periscope depth below. I want to avoid those shots if I can. Protection be damned. Wow. You know that Haragumo, right? You know? Now, our fleet is opening up, and the Zao just took out the U-2501. The Libertad just took out the Golden Lion, and all of a sudden, I'm good again. Awesome. It's great having a teammate who can shoot straight, isn't it? Yeah, I think the 2501 was unlucky, and I think the Haragumo was extremely unlucky to swallow one of those torps. But I guess it's the old adage, isn't it? You throw enough shit at a door, some of it sticks. Yeah? Or enough eggs. It's eggs, isn't it? Yeah, you throw enough eggs. Okay. Oops. Let's go back down again. I don't like doing 20 knots. And look, straight back up to 4 minutes again. You see? Regen build for the win, right? Let's go Cape. What a game. There is a Napoli in the games, but he's heading north with his tail between his legs. And the day is won. I'm going to drink a bit more tea now and try and relax. That was quite stressful. Well done, Hayat. Well done, Irresistible. Well done, Libertad. Well done, Zao. I know you're no longer with us, but you had a bit of a game, didn't you? I did notice. Well played, guys. Well played. Honestly, without their help at B, I was kind of screwed, okay? So, if you're watching this video, do not try this at home. Or do! It's only a video game. What's the worst that can happen, right? I mean, that was incredible. That was incredible. It was like an extreme game of whack-a-mole. Get him! Get him! Get him! Oh no! I've been spotted by him! Quick, get him! What a way to wrap up the video. I am honestly, this last match has been great. I do hope you all hung in there through the first two boring matches to watch this one, because if you didn't, damn! Well, you know, when I started this whole bloody Submarines thing, I didn't know where it was going to lead. I didn't have a clue. It's ended in the U-4501. I may come back to this. I may. There are still a few submarines out there I don't have in my collection. So watch this space for details. It's been a hell of a voyage. I've learned loads. I have learned loads doing this. Yes, they're toxic. Yes, we're stuck with them. Wargaming made it very clear that, you know, submarines are here to stay. I hope if you play Submarines, you've learned something, and I hope if you don't play Submarines, you want to know how to sink the little shits, you've learned something too. I really do. But like I said, this unlocks my dark side. It digs into my inner Sith. I feel extremely naughty playing these. Extremely naughty. Hence the pirate music. And we win. Poor Napoli. Poor Napoli. All on his own at the end. Okay, so we've got 619,000 credits and a first grade. Yay! So we're in the top 5%. We didn't quite make expert this time. That's reserved. That honor is reserved for U-4501. We came second from top. Libertad had a bit of a game, didn't they? So did the Irresistible. Both played very, very well indeed. So did you, sir. 54,000 on the Mecklenburg. That was all torpedo damage, no floods, strangely. 3.5k on the Haragumo. 24,000 on the Hindenburg with lots of flood damage, and 6k on the Irresistible. 89,000 total damage, and of that, only 2,453 was flood damage. Well, spotting damage was 24,000, not so great. Credits-wise, we had the 20% booster on, and we still made 500,000 credits. So, good little earner, the U-4501. Good little earner. I hope you've enjoyed these videos as I have enjoyed making them, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support matters, okay? Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you.